I was looking for a place to plug in my lamp in our upstairs loft, and because of electrical issues that we've dealt with in the house that have been unfinished, unresolved, there's no power flowing to these outlets, or there's some disconnect between the flow of power and the outlet itself. So there's no connection that can be made that can provide power to the lamp that I needed for the light to illuminate. I tried 3 different plugs. No power, no light. No power, no light. And again, no power, no light. When I tried the 4th plug, the light immediately came on. And the reason for it, I do not know specifically. But I knew what the Lord was showing me. I knew that these 3 were on the same circuit. And I knew the true power source was on a different circuit. I knew that if I connected to any one of these 3, that the light would not illuminate. But I knew if I connected to the source, the outside source, the light would illuminate and remain lit. I didn't need to know the reason behind it. I just knew for that moment that there was an issue with these 3 and this circuit specifically. The interesting thing was that I tried those 3 and I revisited those 3 to check again if that outlet would work, to check if the light would illuminate, to check if it would provide power enough to power the light and keep it lit, to see, to have direction, to have guidance, to be able to function. And every time I did, the same result happened. There was no power, there was no flow, and no matter which outlet I went to on the circuit, it didn't provide what I need. We go to outlets in this earth. We go to this earth's circuit in way of moving and operating, expecting it to provide and to be able to illuminate our steps and create a light for our pathway, when the only source is a source that's outside, that is not seen by the things of this world, but is to be reached forth, that is to be stretched forth by faith to access and to receive the true power to illuminate the light. As long as these 3 are being plugged into, there will be no illumination of light. There will be no healing. There will be no transformation. There will be no functioning in a healthy manner. These 3 will keep you in a loop of trying it, trying the next one, and trying the next one, and recognizing that none of them work. The outlets of this world are things that we go to, that we struggle with, that we go to as a place of release, thinking it will relieve our problems, thinking it will cause us to feel better or to overcome something, when the only power source is in Christ. Christ said, "All power and authority has been given unto me." He has it in his hands. He rules and reigns as God, as on the throne, as seated next to the Father. All power and all authority is in him. There is no power down here. No power and no authority. If he has all power and authority, then this means this has no power and no authority. Anything down here has no power and authority to change anything. It all starts in heaven and comes down to this earth. So being connected to him, the light can illuminate. But being connected to anything else, the light will not illuminate. The plugs of this world, they'll have you clicking and continuing, expecting to see an illumination of something, expecting to see a response where there is no response. It'll have the appearance of wiring, have the appearance of being connected, but it's not connected. It's not grounded. It's not rooted in anything of truth. It's not rooted in anything of value, and is not rooted in anything that has power and authority. So therefore it cannot produce light, it cannot produce truth, and it cannot produce anything of value in this earth for us to receive from and to be rooted in. And we return right back to these sources, expecting the healing, expecting the transformation, expecting the overcoming, and relying on it, when all it takes is for us to reach forth for even the garment of the Lord, reaching forth for his virtue to flow out and to heal, for his virtue to come and change a situation, change a heart, change a mind, change someone's life. But instead of looking for change, we look for an exchange. Instead of looking to him for change, we look to the world for an exchange. We look to exchange money or some form of resource for the healing. We look to exchange some form of something that seems valuable on this earth to receive our healing. We look for a sacrifice instead of obedience. Obedience is better than sacrifice. No exchange of anything on this earth will bring the healing that comes from heaven. It comes through a heart that's given. It comes through faith that's reached forth out of a heart that is humble and submitted and recognizing the need for the Father, and recognizes that only power and only authority comes from above. What outlet are you plugged into? What are your outlets on this earth? Whatever is unhealthy or detrimental to your spirit, whatever doesn't align with truth of his word and what he's spoken to your heart, whatever is causing you to stay in disobedience, to continue to pursue after it, expecting it to fulfill your joy, when the fullness of joy is in his presence. And the only place to get there is through obedience and surrender. And worship, and an act of worship, is to be obedient. Are you worshiping the Father in spirit and in truth today? Or are you trying to find another outlet to go to that does not provide what you need, but is a comfort place for you? Whereas faith is uncomfortable, and stepping out in faith is uncomfortable. But when you do it, you get connected to a source that can bring life. The only source that brings life, and that is the light of the world. Plugging into these, they have an appearance of being connected, but they're all connected together. They're all under one roof, one covering. They're all under one place, and they all have the same source they're connected to, which is death. But the life in Christ is connected to the life that is truth, that is true life and true indeed, and sets free and free indeed. This cycle needs to stop so that we can connect to the true life that is outside of this world, but can provide light to this world and illuminate the darkness that is everywhere else. This world is in darkness, and they're trying to plug in to many sources that are trying to act as lights, but are false lights. We are to be the light of the world, and when we shine our light before men, other men get to see that light, and they get to glorify the Father. Give others the opportunity to glorify the Father through your light shining today, by showing that you're not plugged into these sources down here. You're not in the entanglements of this world, but you're detangled from it, and you're connected to the light of life, and your light is illuminated and showing for all to see. And that these distractions and the deceptions that appear as light, as one thing, as fulfilling any form of happiness or joy, or they appear to fulfill, but they are never able to fully fill. They're never able to provide what only the Father set in eternity of your hearts. To seek after him is to be fulfilled. To hunger and thirst for righteousness is a place that he has us in, as he has the righteous in. Hunger and thirst for righteousness, and you will be filled. Nothing down here can fill the way Christ fills. When you hunger and thirst for righteousness, you will be filled, and you will fulfill the calling he has on your life. If you're seeking for a change, for a healing, for a transformation, whatever you're seeking after, seek first his kingdom and his righteousness. Don't seek for an exchange of this world. The world takes, and it doesn't give in return. What it gives is going to require you to return back to it, like how our bodies work with substances. It requires more and more as you intake more and more to get the same result. Our fullness is fulfilled in Christ, in pursuing him. The fullness of joy is there always, and it never changes because he never changes. He can change us because he never changes, and he can change any situation because he is unchangeable. So he can move in a way that will change it forever, and it'll never be the same. We can lay down the outlets of this world, the things that we have been going to with all of our money, and all of our resources and all of our time seeking it for our joy, our peace, our healing, our strength, and let go of that to run unto the Father and be fulfilled by Him, be strengthened by Him, to be revived by Him, to be renewed by Him, and to have our fullness, the fullness of Him, fill us so that we can be full. God so loved the world that He sent His only Son. God always gives, He doesn't take. This world takes and doesn't give. His ways are higher, His ways are better. He desires for us to receive, not to just exchange, not to exchange. His love doesn't exchange. It gives without ever expecting in return. But He desires our hearts. And when we truly recognize and realize who He is, we recognize His love for us. We desire to give it. We desire to serve Him. We become thankful for what He's already done. And that work that He did on the cross was while we were yet sinners. He died for us. So He's inviting us into the healing. He's inviting us into the restoration. He's inviting us into a place of relationship with Him, to disconnect from these things of this world and to connect to the light, that that light may shine through us and shine forth out of us, so that we may be changed forever and not exchanged for another outlet or another place of being connected to and going through that same circuit, that same cycle that has already lost power, that already has no power to produce anything of life, but get on God's circuit and remain in that place connected to Him and one with Him, and you'll always illuminate and shine that light. There is nothing that God needs from us. He has no need. He desires for us to be in relationship with Him. He invites us into it. He's not looking for an exchange. He's looking for a change. He's looking for our hearts to be changed, transformed, and renewed, and for us to have clean hearts and operate in His holiness with Him, so that we can be joint heirs with Him and rest and rule and reign in this earth with Him, humbly walking with Him. And I pray we let go of the substances of this world, so that we can grab hold of the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of what is not seen, which is our faith. And we can walk in that, in the fullness of what He's made for us to walk in. And I pray we don't look for any more outlets. I pray we look to let out the praises that God deserves.